Hi, it's Simon. The iPad is an amazing device, but many of us just don't really know how to truly get the most out of it to maximize it as a useful tool in our daily workflow or even downtime. With the increasing array of new iPads coming out from Apple, not to mention some great and lesser known new iPad apps, here are the best ways I'm using the iPad to get the most from it so that you can do the same. We'll start with the essentials and I'll finish with some more unusual iPad use cases that you might not have imagined. Oh, and thank you to, well, me for sponsoring my own video with my custom icon packs. Terrible, I'll show you later. So first up, the iPad is the perfect device for consuming content, researching, and note-taking at the same time. I use the split screen mode to read articles, and when I want to take notes, I can just bring them up, either in split screen or floating over the top in my notes-taking app of choice. For consuming web content beyond Safari or Chrome, I think it's worth checking out a few more bespoke browser options like Command Browser and Readwise Reader, or even something like Instapaper for a more custom and simplified experience. The advantage of the first two though, Command and Readwise, is that both sync your highlights and clippings into a Readwise account automatically that you can access later as you need. Readwise is a great place to gather all of your clippings and highlights. It syncs famously with Kindle as well, and then you could even sync all of that into something like a Notion or an Evernote second brain. And of course, with the iPad, let's not forget that Kindle app is there for reading on the go if you don't have a reader. Now, if you like to read the news and browse your favorite features, the iPad is great for that. And I recommend dumping the Apple News app for the Flipboard app. It's beautiful to use, and what's great is you can customize categories and your favorite subjects within it. The next best way to get the most from your iPad has to be advanced note-taking and sketching. Now, of course, for more everyday written note-taking, the app of choice for you depends on what you value from your app. I think Apple Notes, though, remains a brilliant and powerful native option, one of the best Apple apps out there, where you can type and scribble notes by hand, change written text to type, loads of great stuff. But I also personally love using GoodNotes 5. I know I've mentioned a few of these before, but they really are the kind of best of the best and have stood the test of time on the iPad. So check it out for more serious mind mapping project scribbles. I've even literally drafted an entire set of storyboards for theatre productions using it. And again, mentioned before, but I have to say, Procreate, if you've not tried it on the iPad, it's kind of like the iPad was made for it. It's my go-to sketching tool, and you can really get more involved with serious artwork there. Here's a little bit of artwork that I made a while back. What do you think? Is that worth a like? And if it's terrible, just give me a like to make me feel better. Another amazing app I recently discovered for drawing and sketching is Endless Paper, which is essentially, well, exactly what it sounds like, an infinite canvas to sketch, so you can zoom in and keep zooming in or zooming out. It's really, really cool. And this could actually be a really great hack for your next presentation if you do that kind of thing, and making it a bit more interesting. Number 3 is editing and touching up your photos. The iPad paired with the Apple Pencil is the tool, in my opinion, for editing your images quickly and effectively. I love that I can see an image at a good size whilst all the app controls are there, but I can still kind of hold it in my hands. So depending on what you want to do, I recommend grabbing either something like Affinity Photo or Lightroom as the go-to apps really for editing on the iPad. If you haven't tried it, just drop a couple of your camera roll pictures onto the iPad and discover the joy of fixing up your photos over a nice coffee. Next, if you want to take things even further with images in the iPad was made for graphic design. For me, this means creating thumbnails or social media posts. My 3 favorite apps for this have to be Pixelmator, Canva, and ClipDrop, which is a new one for very different reasons. Pixelmator and Pixelmator Pro, you can also use it on the Mac, makes fast and detailed editing an absolute breeze. It's the best thing I've found for images and thumbnails. Canva will give you templates and quick design tools and ready-made elements that you can place into your designs. It even has things like AI replace, so you can quickly make your documents look really fab, but I find the quality of the export is a little bit lower than other apps. And I recently discovered ClipDrop, which uses AI to actually take a photo and immediately cut it out from its background, but it also does replacing objects, replacing backgrounds, generating AI imagery. It's got a ton of functionality in it for a simple app. It's actually fantastic. Now, number 5 is a quick one. Time blocking and managing your calendar is actually brilliant if you do it on your iPad. The reason for this is, I think, just the intuitive nature of moving things around on a calendar. So I manage my life in Notion, but my calendar is still in Google Calendar, and their app is actually quite good. You can drag and drop to your heart's content and not be limited by a phone size view or the kind of click and mouse problems that can come up when you're trying to do it quickly. It's a simple idea, but it's where I plan my week out now, every week. Oh, and while I remember, don't forget to block out a few seconds now to subscribe here. That was creative but terrible, but at least give us a thumbs up. Okay, managing your time perfectly links to my next favorite use case, which is managing tasks, projects, and to-do lists. I think the iPad is a great way to track your to-do lists and projects, whether you're on the go or at work. Depending on how powerful you want your system to be, here are 3 increasingly powerful options that I recommend. If you want to keep things super simple and minimalist, try Minimalist. Okay, terrible pun for a name, brilliantly simple app to use, and a really lovely design for a clear head. And what's really cool is there's a handy Pomodoro counter built into it for you productive focusers out there. Now, if you want to go further, I would say that the best standalone app has to be Todoist on the iPad. Still one of the best user interfaces out there for managing your to-do list and calendar. What's really cool is the intuitive everyday language input, so you can just type it in and it formats it. But if you want truly productive power, I still swear by using Notion as my life operating system. It can connect all your to-do list projects and knowledge together, and it can be custom to your needs. And yes, whilst the iOS app is not the best for building and organizing in a Notion setup, it is still really excellent for checking projects off, ticking off to-do lists, and referencing your notes if you know how to set it up. And if you don't know, there is loads of other Notion content and productivity help on this Better Creating channel, so check it out. You might have noticed that my Notion workspace and iPad home screen are rather satisfyingly unified in a simple, minimal design. Do you want to make your iPad setup or iPhone look like this? I think it's time for me to explain my terrible sponsorship joke from earlier. These are icons from my iOS and Notion design packs, a complete set of minimal iOS icons and covers in black and white and transparent gradient sets of the icons that even allow you to use the native Apple shortcut colors to custom colorize any icon you want into the color that you want. Perfect for that custom iPad look. Check them out via the link in the description, and make sure you check out my guide video on how to customize your iPad and iPhone with them as well. Now, you should be aware that the process of customizing in iOS and iPadOS is more of a pleasing hack than a kind of plug and play product, but if you have a few hours to enjoy getting stuck into it and making your iPad look like this, jump in and have a go. You can go to bettercreating.com for more to download, and thank you to me for sponsoring the... Let's just move on. Right, okay, time to get to some of those more unexpected iPad use cases. Now, number 7 is a simple but important one to mention: in-flight entertainment. Now, for those of us lucky enough to be able to get on a plane, don't forget, with the right accessories, the iPad can become a really brilliant travel companion, particularly on those shorter flights. More and more planes now offer a little shelf, or maybe it's just got a little pocket to put documents, but if you have the right iPad cover set up, you have the perfect in-flight portable entertainment system that you can hang or place where you need it. Number 8 is use your iPad as a camera monitor or even as a teleprompter. So I wanted a camera monitor for filming and didn't want to splash out on a standalone camera monitor. If you have a Sony camera, check out Camrote, a great app that creates a highly professional camera monitor system. And since I film on Fujifilm, the Fuji app also offers some remote control options, which are great for me. But if you really wanted to take it to that next level, do also check out the Axoon Simo device that will turn your iPhone or iPad into a great monitor via HDMI, whatever the camera. So with the quality of that iPad screen, the touch controls and portability, it's all powered by an MP battery, and you can record directly into the camera roll. The iPad screens are super color accurate, and you can even multitask on the screen whilst using the Simo. Now, if you wanted to mount your iPad to it, you can try using a Ulanzi mount that I've linked in the description, and do check out Philip Bloom's amazing full video on that system if you want to know more about it. I'm seriously looking at it myself. I've rigged up my other camera to show you this. Now, I suppose this is probably 8B. The iPad can be your Teleprompter. I made this simple device from 2 picture frames, mounted it on this lighting stand tray, and away we go. It's a great solution for cutting my filming times in half. Now, my go-to teleprompter app is the Prompt Smart. Now, whilst they've annoyingly made it a subscription model recently, it's actually a really good one because, as you can see, it waits for you when you're speaking, but then I love that it has voice recognition to scroll through the text automatically. Now, other options to check out would be the Parrot app. There's loads more on the App Store. Pretty cool, right? And there's also an old video of mine below on how to make one of these from picture frames if you want it. 9, recording stuff. Yep. The iPad is now an amazing multifunctional tool for recording and editing sound and video. With recent releases such as DaVinci Resolve coming to iPad, that's a massive bit of news recently, and the already excellent apps like LumaFusion for video editing, Filmic Pro for turning your iOS device into a mirrorless camera with all the settings, or programs like GarageBand and Ferrite Pro for fast and surprisingly high quality audio recording and even editing, your iPad can be your all-in-one content creation studio. But you'll have to watch some of my other videos for more on using the iPad as a creator. Okay, so that's 9 ways. Should we probably do 10 and round this off? Yes, I think that we should. And I would say that 10 should be to watch more videos on your iPad. It's a great device for that. And I love using this stand by ChargeM Pro to watch stuff whilst I'm cooking. It's a cracker. And to make your life a little easier with other great tools and tech, I suggest you start with one of my other videos on the apps that work for me and the productive tools that truly help me work less down here. It would be awesome if you subscribed here if you haven't, amazing if you turned on the notifications and left a comment, and I'd better get back to creating. Bye.